want to really pause and think, how do I think? Or think, what influences my thinking? The things that I believe in and the way I do things, where do they derive from? The way I look after my children, the way I conduct my marriage, the way I govern in my place of work, the way I rule, the way I treat people, where does that thinking come from? So this is what the kingdom of darkness looks like. In the kingdom of darkness is where those who oppose the reign of Christ dwell. This is where you find the antichrist spirits. Not just a person, the spirit of antichrist. Everything that opposes Christ is in the kingdom of darkness. The prince of darkness, the prince of the power of the air, that's why it's called. The spirit who works in the sons of disobedience. This is where you find humanism, that reliance on self to do things, as opposed to a reliance on God to do things. This is where you find the kind of thinking that appears clever, but is not based on truth. It looks that it has value and action can deliver for you, but it is not based on truth. This is where you find clever, deceptive philosophies. The book of Colossians says they rely on human tradition and the elemental spiritual forces of this world. Paul warns, Apostle Paul warns, and he says in Colossians, see to it that no one takes you captive through what they have achieved using an egoistic drive and invented philosophies that do not rest on the wisdom of God. There are things we do which look clever, which look peaceful, which look right. They don't look blatantly evil, but they do not derive from truth. They do not derive from the word of God. And insofar as they do not derive from the word of God, they are in the kingdom of darkness. Apostle Paul is the one who teaches a lot on this. He's emphatic that there are ways of doing things which are not based on the wisdom of God, although they appear clever and godly. Such philosophies have an appearance of truth, but they are deceptions by the devil masquerading as the angel of light. They are cunning craftiness of men in their deceitful scheming. For you and me, who are born again and who know generally what sin is, and therefore we don't dabble in this, this is the area where we get captivated. This is the area where we are most likely to go off, and these things become strongholds. They can become strongholds in our minds. And once they capture your mind, these crafty ways of working become influencers of your decision-making processes. And therefore, if they're influencers of your decision-making processes, it is that thinking that is governing the earth. So you want to really pause and think, how do I think? Or think, what influences my thinking? The things that I believe in and the way I do things, where do they derive from? The way I look after my children, the way I conduct my marriage, the way I govern in my place of work, the way I rule, the way I treat people, where does that thinking come from? Is it deriving from the wisdom of God, from the word of God, or is it deriving from the kingdom of darkness?